Alright, so I thought I'd just run through my basic workflow, how I get a beat from sounding like nothing to being fully completed. I wrote down a couple steps, and I'll just walk through those steps as I add on to this beat. Step one, I usually start with a basic melody or chord progression so I can figure out the key and like kind of the general feel I want. This is like really important because if I don't get the sound I like, then I probably won't end up liking where the rest of the track or the beat goes either. Let's just give this a listen through. It's kind of a basic melody I jotted down with a piano. If you notice, this is in 3/4 time, not 4/4. Most Western music is 4/4, which means it's 4 beats per bar, which would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? But this goes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? So let me just play this, and you can you kind of hear it out. I'll even turn on the metronome. But yeah, you can hear that basic 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then for step two, I'll slowly begin to add more instruments to fill like all the empty space. And what I mean by empty space is like both the low end and the high end. So I pulled up an EQ so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. Since this is only one melody and there's not much layered, it's not going to be a lot on this scale of frequencies, right? So these frequencies go from 20 all the way to probably like 20,000 up here. And your bass would be around 100 or lower, and then your low middle would be around this range. The vocals would be around here, and then you got your percussion like hi-hats, your drums, and your snares, stuff like that ends up being at this range. So let me just play the piano. And as you can see, that really hits the middle range. And what I'm trying to do now is just trying to fill like more of the bass up and some of the high end, but I still want to leave some room there for percussion. Okay, so I feel like I'm happy with what I've done for step two. So I haven't added a lot more instruments. I've only added 4 on top of this basic piano. As you'll see when I'm playing this, is that more of this EQ or this equalizer will be filled. And right now it feels really kind of drifty and back and forth. Okay, so that kind of leads me to my next step, which is drums and percussion, which will really fill out that high end, that high end which I've left pretty empty still, and it'll make the mix feel a lot more energetic, and you'll see what I mean when we move to that step. Kind of finished a basic set of trap drums, and I'll just play them right now. I'll show you with this EQ again what that's done to the high end. So here's the whole song. You can see that I actually pulled the high end up maybe too much. And that'd probably be the snare. You can kind of tell it's pretty loud. Hate being lonely, but don't like my friends around. Looks a switching tree now going to observe the feeling drown. Voices of the touch of people bubble back when they are down. All these different situations that I feel, but then I'm out. So I kind of did that on the spot, but kind of gives you a good view into what exactly this mixing stuff looks like. I put my stuff in, and then I adjust velocity and volume. Try to make it everything fit together. So I'll play that. That's a little bit more bearable now, but I guess that will lead me to my next step, which would be things like panning. Panning is just kind of how loud an instrument or a sound is in the left to right ear. So if an instrument's really loud in your left ear, then it's panned to the left. Really loud in the right, it's panned to the right, and that can make a mix feel a lot more full and professional. And on top of that, I'll also, making an actual structure to the beat, so it'll be longer. There'll be more of a journey rather than just this repetitive beat. Okay, so I finished the structure of the beat, and I added a lot more dynamics to this thing. So as you can see, I'll just like play some little snippets. At this beginning part, I made it real quiet. I added a bit of a fade in here with automation over the master, so the entire mix or the entire master is just, its volume is like getting increased when it starts, and then slowly transitions into this, and then that transitions up to the beat. Which I think sounds really good. And apart from that, I ended up doing a lot more than I expected to this. I added this choir in the back. I also used automation to make it sound more realistic. So, volume lowers, goes back up, lowers. Yeah, I think you get the point. But it kind of ramps up the energy quite a bit. Things like a choir, it makes it feel a lot more tense. And then, this is kind of the big thing I ended up doing, was a key change, which I don't think I've ever done in one of my beats. So it was kind of a new thing, because I just wanted to experiment with something like that. And I really like how it went. I'll just play it right now. So I really like how this key change turned out, and something that helped me figure out this key change was just some prior knowledge, knowing that if you move any key, if you're in a key, for example, this was in C minor, and I moved the entire key down a half step, which changed it to B minor, because that's the key before C minor, right? I knew that if I moved it down a half step, that would change the key. And I could have really moved it anywhere. I could have moved it like, 5 half steps, or like, 6 half steps or whatever. And I could have got a different key, but I thought it would be cooler if I just moved it up 1 half step, so I could have this kind of smooth pitch transition, because I changed the pitch by 100 cents right here for a bunch of these instruments, so that the transition was a bit more smooth. Okay, with that out of the way, I can move on to this part of the beat, and I'll just play it. Yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I think I like this side like significantly better than that, but I don't know. I still like this side. I just really like the way I went with this. There are actually some similarities, because I wanted to connect these, because it's still the same song, right? There's some similarities between them. For example, I changed the key, but even though I changed the key, I still used, same melody, if you heard it in the back. And that is the same as this one right here. Just with the key changed. Same for this chord progression right here. Same for these this choir, I just moved everything by a half step to put it into that key. Okay, so now with that out of the way, vocals. Okay, so I finished the vocals, and here's all my lines throughout the song. The lyrics don't correlate with me all that much. I focused a lot more on the flow and fitting them into this song. And when I listen to the beat, I feel like the perfect kind of idea or the perfect lyrics that would fit this, even though I might not relate to them, is kind of Heartbreak. So I went for that. When it comes to showing these vocals, I'm not going to be playing the beat with it because I'll be showing that off after mastering. Okay, so for this first part, I wanted to feel like really introductory, kind of introducing you to the song and the way the vibe and the way it feels. So it's very melodic, and I'll just show it. You're waiting now. No, it's getting too. Yeah, and a little trick I used. I don't have perfect pitch, so just to help me sing in key, I had a piano which I listened to while I was singing my part. Because I have a hard time singing in key without something to go off of. Without this piano, I realized I was singing out of key a lot, so it helped me a lot to deal with that problem. And then for this part 2, when I originally made this, I started with the rap line, right? That's this here. Yeah, left you on red again, and I'm feeling bad for you. But I thought it sounded way too raw just by itself, so I decided to put in another harmony line underneath of this. So it's like, yeah, left you on red again, and I'm feeling bad for you. You don't understand, I won't fall for it. And you'll see a pattern here of lines like these. It emphasizes the end parts to these phrases, so you can hear the again, and I'm feeling bad for it. You don't understand, I won't fall for it. And if you go to the end, there's a lot more emphasis here. Blunt for you, I won't sharp the tip. Yeah. So for part 3, I was having a lot of problems with this part, trying to get it to sound good, because all I had was this melodic part here. I'll just play it right now. I don't wanna keep letting this go on. You just wanna talk about it. And by itself, it doesn't really sound that good, so I understand why I was having a difficult time with it. But I decided to try to throw kind of a rap part over it. But it's the same lyrics, right? But I kind of just did it in a more stronger voice. I'll just play that now. For you, I won't sharp the tip. I don't wanna keep letting this go on. You just wanna talk about it. And I thought with the beat, it sounded really good. So I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. And then part 4, this is similar to the first part, except it creates even more tension just through the phrasing and the lyrics. It's not like I didn't love you at all. It's not like I don't care. So it sounds really emotional, and it leads to the last part, which I think it ramps up pretty well. I really just tried to make this last part, as dramatic as I could, like to the best of my ability. I'll just play that now. Oh, you don't know how hard it is trying to tear out of all this. The real you was hidden behind the masking of love, and I feel so blind. So it sounds really emotional and, heartbreak or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how these vocals turned out. I guess next step is mastering. Okay, so I finished mastering. As you can see, if I click here, just put a few plugins over my master track. I'm usually pretty lazy when it comes to mastering. If you look at like anyone else's, they'll have like an absolute ton of plugins or effects over their master, but I kind of just put a few. First one I put was this EQ to take away some of the bad frequencies. Like, for example, if you're listening on a a lower quality device or a different device than I produce my music on, it's kind of just to make it sound just as good on that device as it does on my computer. And then a different thing I did is put a limiter over everything. Limiter basically just makes it so it's impossible for the sound to reach a certain point. So I set it to here, so there's a few parts in the song where see, like, spots like there and there, they breach this ceiling, so then that mutes those, at least those parts which breach it. And then I put a maximizer over the track, just to even it out and get it as close to 0 as possible, because that's kind of my goal with mastering, just to get my track as close to 0. Then it will also match the volume of any songs out there that you'll hear on Spotify or something, and then also match the volume of the other songs I put on my playlist. But yeah, that's about all I did. I'm just gonna play through the entire track and enjoy.
Yeah, left you on red again, and I'm feeling bad for it. You don't understand, I won't fall for it. Making me feel like a culprit. So many problems, and I just can't go with it. Broke your heart right in two, not like I wanted it, but it's too hard when I can't get you to quit. I think it's about time that you took the hint, put in it blunt. For you, I won't sharp the tip. For you, I won't sharp the tip. I don't wanna keep letting this go on. You just wanna talk about it. I don't wanna explain the obvious. You know what will happen if we catch up again. It's not like I didn't love you at all. It's not like I don't care. Oh, you don't know how hard it is trying to tear out of all this. The real you was hidden behind the masking of love, and I feel so blind. You never cared how I feel. I'm not an object, so what's the deal? So I had to decide that now or later I had to break ties.